Hello, Commander, and welcome to an XCOM 2 War of the Chosen Fall Patch Breakdown. I won't be going over all the notes here, but I will be touching on a couple big ones. If you want the entirety of the patch notes, just check out the description below. There is a mixture of bug patches and balance changes in this fall patch. I would say some fairly big ones. First up, we have maybe the most complained about bug, fixing the Lost World Dark event to expire correctly. At one point in the game, people were getting the Lost World Dark event, which is a dark event which makes Lost show up on every single mission, and it was never expiring, even without Grim Horizon on. Yikes. Fixed weapons with mods attached, not upgrading to the next tier for soldiers who were deployed on covert actions. Oh man, this one frustrated me so much. Having a superior laser sight on a shotgun, setting that person off on a covert mission, having an upgrade while they were gone, and that laser sight stayed on the conventional firearm and was not upgraded to the shotgun. Oh gosh, so frustrating. I'm glad that's fixed. I'm not a big fan of how panic works in XCOM 2. Having soldiers shoot or grenade or cut their bondmate to death seems inane, and I'm very thankful that these next two notes kind of address some of that. Berserk Rangers no longer attack squad mates. This just means that you're no longer going to slice and dice your buddy up. And then we have Bladestorm and Retribution no longer considering teammates as valid targets. So you can run your level 2 bondmate up to a ranger or a skirmisher that is panicking and not have to worry about getting cut. Another pretty major bug was removed this patch. Spectres hit with stasis will no longer prevent Shadowbound units from recovering when the Spectre is killed. I think this patch is actually worded wrong. I think what's actually going on here is the shadow of the Spectre is the issue with the target of stasis. When the shadow of the Spectre is stasis and the Spectre dies, the shadow will not die, and therefore the soldier won't be brought back from unconsciousness. And then, before, even when you killed the shadow, the soldier would still not come back from unconsciousness, which is a pretty extreme thing to just run into, and obviously was not intended. The brutal chosen strength will no longer permanently decrease soldier will. It will now actually temporarily decrease it. Previously, what the brutal chosen strength was doing was it was actually lowering a soldier's maximum will. Now, I've been running myself a mod that patches this, but I'm sure there's a lot of players out there who are very curious about why their will was so low. Updated Mimic Beacon behavior for Purifier, Priest, Spectre, and Shadowbound units. I am not 100% sure what this means. Please let me know in the comments below exactly what this is going to entail. I had noticed that Spectres and Purifiers were ignoring Mimic Beacons. I hadn't noticed that Priests were doing so. It probably has to do with the abilities that these guys have and how their AI was telling them to function. Again, let me know what you find about this in the comments. Thanks. Skulljack now kills units instantly if Beta Strike is enabled. This is a very interesting one because I only found out the day before the patch that Skulljack actually was set to do 20 base damage. The developers of XCOM figured that 20 was enough and that there was no reason to put like a repeater effect in for the Skulljack because nothing was ever going to have 20 HP, right? But now with Beta Strike, this became an issue and thankfully has now been patched. You can probably go and find what happened when you used a Skulljack on Beta Strike and it didn't kill the target because it's very strange. The ragdoll effect that occurred is pretty funny. Fixed issue with Claymores not immediately targetable by the Reaper. I found this bug a number of times. There was a couple workarounds in-game. I am very, very, very thankful that this is no longer a thing. The Reaper's Claymore is such a powerful tool, and to throw it when you know you can shoot it and then not be able to shoot it for some crazy reason, it would show as grayed out for whatever madness. I'm very glad not to have to deal with this issue in the future. Supply extraction loot now recovered if XCOM evacs from the mission. Previously on the supply raid types that were supply extraction, if you did not kill all enemies on the map, it was marked as a mission failure and you did not recover the loot. Now, you can go these missions, hit one crate, evac, and still be a successful mission, which is really nice for a lot of reasons. I think the mission should have been like that anyway. This is already a tougher mission when compared to the normal supply raid missions, where you just had to kill all the enemy targets and didn't have to worry about securing these loot crates. This is another one of those bugs that was already patched via some mods in the workshop, but I'm very glad to see it getting an official look at. This is a game-breaking bug that I have personally run into. Restricting spawns in the corners of some parcels to prevent Chosen from being stuck if they spawn in the corner of a map. I've had a Chosen spawn in the corner of the map where they could not get out and I could not get to them. Luckily, I was able to blow up the walls in order to get to the Chosen and finally kill them to complete the mission. Otherwise, that mission would have been marked a failure guaranteed because of the requirement to neutralize all enemy targets. Slightly reducing the aim of retaliation civilian militia and volunteer army soldiers. This one I have some mixed feelings about. It's certainly going to make that retaliation mission type much more difficult. Certainly it was pretty insane to have the retaliation civilian militia have way better aim than XCOM did, and I think they probably will still have better aim than XCOM. I'm wondering how much more difficult these retaliation missions are going to end up being because they do have more enemies on the map on that mission type. So I don't know how much time Fraxis is putting to balancing this, and I'm a bit afraid to find out that maybe those retaliation mission types are now the harder retaliation mission types rather than the previous type being the more difficult one. Blue screen rounds no longer affect destructibles. I believe there's a couple things affected by this. Alien relays, your own relays that you need to defend if one of your units was mind controlled. But I certainly think the biggest impact is going to be, and possibly some spoilers here, I'm going to put a spoiler warning on screen, is that the chosen sarcophagus is no longer affected by blue screen rounds. I think this is okay. I think Frax is probably already balanced for this, and it was just an unintended thing that blue screen rounds were doing extra damage. Adding additional text to the Reaper's Silent Killer ability description. This is something very interesting that I did not know about. It turns out the Silent Killer ability does not prevent the Reaper from being revealed. It just prevents the Reaper from having an increased chance of being revealed. The base chance is 0. That's before even taking a shot. If a single shot is taken, the Reaper has a 50% chance to be revealed. A second shot will up that to 80% chance. When you use the Silent Killer ability, it does not remove the chance to be revealed if you've taken shots already. So, you take your first shot, you don't kill the target or you miss, you have a 50% chance of being revealed. If you fire again, you hit this time, you kill, but you still have a 50% chance of being revealed even though the Silent Killer ability does proc. This is interesting. I didn't know about this, and definitely this description on the ability now explains that much better. Okay, we've finally made it to my personal bugbear. Maybe the only patch in this entire patch note log that I do not like. Change Skirmisher Ionic Ripjack stun chance to 25%. God dang it, Fraxis, you have taken possibly the weakest hero class and nerfed them even further. 25% chance stun is the same stun that's on the Ranger's Arc Blade. Come on, it's a hero class. It needs help, not nerfs. Make it 50%. 70% is what I would have put it at. I guess they wanted to bring it in line with the Arc Blade, but it shouldn't be. It's a hero class. You probably only get one of them, unless you started with them. I already feel like the Skirmisher is really weak. I feel like it needs some work. There's a lot of abilities that are very situational and very weird and very just different than the other classes. They don't have very obvious uses. I'm quite frustrated with this. I may, in my personal play, actually make this a bit more balanced, in my opinion, and bring it to 50, maybe to 70. Now, I really want to hear what you have to say about this. Do you think this is too far? Because I really do think this is actually the biggest note. Besides the obvious things, I don't think there's a whole lot of contention for a bunch of this stuff here. It really wasn't intended. You know, bunch of bugs and stuff like that. This is a big balance change, a really big one for the Skirmisher. Let me know what you think. Do you think the Skirmisher is strong? Do you run the Skirmisher? Do you think that the Ionic Ripjack is OP and this is going to restore the balance where it's always better to upgrade to the highest tech level when before you never would upgrade from the Ionic Ripjack because it was so good? I do agree that 100% chance was way too high. I do think it should be reliable though. It should be a feature. Maybe what should really happen is the Ionic Ripjack should be 25%, and then the next tier should be 50%. Maybe we should go with something like that. Having crowd control is always really nice, and being able to do 2 stuns would mean that at least you would get 1 off at 50%. Let me know what you think. Thank you for watching this video, guys. I appreciate it very much. Stay motivated, because it's the most important thing. Stay awesome, because you know you are, and I'll see you next time.